Hello, once again, and welcome to A River Between Chaos and Zen, the podcast, the poetry podcast from Creative Actors Lab. My name is Max, and Kelly always sends her love. I've been wanting to talk about this one for a little while, and actually found a couple of good resources for lyrics for the old blues songs. For me personally, when I got to be in my late teens, early 20s, I fell in love with the blues. Lead Belly, Mississippi John Hurt, Blind Willie McTell, Memphis Minnie McCoy, John Lee Hooker. Oh my God. And I just fell in love with it, particularly at that time because there was a lot of pop music there, because I was raised on Zeppelin and Aerosmith and bands like that, and pop music at the time was kind of changing, and a lot of that sort of music was going away. And then I discovered, without people like Howlin' Wolf and John Lee Hooker, there would be no Led Zeppelin. There probably would not be rock and roll, or at least it would not be in the state that we have come to know it. And I absolutely fell in love with this music. And I played it incessantly. I collected vinyl. At one point, I even had a Steel 78 of Lead Belly, doing Where Did You Sleep Last Night? This music just does not die. It's just, it comes from people who, they had all this heart and all this soul, and and all this passion and misery, and just these lives that were so rich from one end of the spectrum to the other, and to express it, they had nothing other than their heart and their words and probably some homemade musical instruments, and that's what they had. And to me, this stuff has always struck a chord, because it's just, for myself, when I write poetry, the reason I write poetry is because really I have no other choice. And the things I feel inside will come out at some point, and they usually come out as poetry or art. And if I did not have these things to express myself, they would most probably come out in manifest eventually in very unhealthy, to say the least, ways. And that's what these people had. They wrote these words, they played this music because they just had to. They had no choice. It was in them, and it just had to get out. And thank God it did. This music does not die. The other thing I want to say also is, without getting up on a soapbox and pontificating about things, I read a lot of poetry, and I particularly, just about a week or so ago, I went to see a reading of a guy who's considered like one of the big poets right now, and the thing, and I've seen this in poetry for as long as I can remember, is, with no disrespect to anybody, a lot of these people that write poetry become really concerned with the structure of poetry, whether it's going to be in couplets or sonnets or quatrains or sestinas or whatever. Whether it's going to rhyme or not rhyme, or they become concerned about how many syllables are on one line, first and foremost, and the heart and soul aspect of it comes second, and they consequently wind up writing about a lot of the same stuff over and over, and there is nothing wrong with that. It takes a lot of talent to do that. It takes a lot of study and intellect and discipline and perseverance, and to be able to write like that. And I mean no disrespect, but if it doesn't have heart, if it doesn't have soul first and foremost, it's just like an empty structure. It's just like building a house and then not having anything in it and not living in the house. It just misses the point of writing poetry, and it's just sad. So I'll get down off my soapbox now, but I came across this stuff, and I love this music. I have loved this ever since I was very young, and I'd like to share some of this stuff, if I may. There's this one song. It's called "Tain't Nobody's Business If I Do." It was recorded apparently 1922. Anna Meyer and the original Memphis Five, and it was covered by Bessie Smith, Sam Cooke, Billie Holiday, Dinah Washington, artists Diana Ross, Otis Spann, Hank Williams Jr., Freddie King, Frank Stokes, Mississippi John Hurt, Eric Clapton, Susan Tedeschi, Taj Mahal, Wingnut Dishwashers Union, and Willie Nelson. And it goes like this. There ain't nothing I can do, nor nothing I can say, that folks don't criticize me. But I'm gonna do just as I want anyway. I don't care if they all despise me. Fuck yeah. If I should take a notion to jump into the ocean, it ain't nobody's business if I do. Rather than persecute me, I choose that you would shoot me. It ain't nobody's business if I do. If I should get the feeling to dance on the ceiling, it ain't nobody's business if I do. If I let my best companion drive me right into the canyon, 'tain't nobody's business if I do. After all, the way I do is do just as you please, regardless of their talking. Oftentimes, the ones that talk will get down on their knees and beg your pardon for their squawking. If I dislike my lover and leave her for another, it ain't nobody's business if I do. If I go to church on Sunday and cabaret on Monday, 'tain't nobody's business if I do. If my friend ain't got no money and I say, take all mine, honey, it ain't nobody's business if I do. If I lend her my last nickel and it leaves me in a pickle, it ain't nobody's business if I do. There's one called Baby Won't You Please Come Home, written by Charles Warfield and Clarence Williams in 1919, first recorded by Eva Taylor, Clarence Williams' wife. It's covered by Bessie Smith, Louis Armstrong, Count Basie Orchestra, Sidney Bechet and his Feet Warmers, Ray Charles, Sam Cooke, Miles Davis, Ella Fitzgerald, Benny Goodman and his orchestra, and many more. And it even says written in the key of F for somebody. I've got the blues, I feel so lonely, I'll give the world. If I only make you understand, it'll surely would be grand. I'm gonna telephone my baby and ask him, won't you please come home? 'Cause whether you're gone, I'm worried all day long. Baby, won't you please come home? Baby, won't you please come home? I have tried in vain evermore to call your name. When you left, you broke my heart. That will never make us part. Every hour in the day you will hear me say, baby, won't you please come home? I mean, baby, won't you please come home? Baby, won't you please come home? 'Cause your mama's all alone. I have tried in vain nevermore to call your name. And when you left, you broke my heart. That will never make us part. Landlord's getting worse. I've got to move May the 1st. Baby, won't you please come home? I need money. Baby, won't you please come home? This is called the Broadway Blues. By J. Brandon Walsh and Terry Sherman in 1915, and first recorded in 1915 by Sophie Tucker. The Broadway Blues. Oh, there's no use in talking, folks, I'm feeling blue. Oh, there's no use talking, folks, I'm feeling blue. All alone in New York town and loaded down with the mean old blues, those Broadway blues. I've got to go and get myself some gin right now. Gotta go and get myself some gin right now. It's an awful thing when gloom keeps hanging round with Broadway blues, these Broadway blues. And the chorus goes, oh the blues, did you ever hear the Broadway blues? They're the meanest old blues, those nasty Broadway blues. Oh, there's no use talking, folks, the panic's on. Though there's no use talking, folks, the panic's on, 'cause my gal done left me and my sugar's gone. I got the blues, those Broadway blues. Oh, you baby babe, oh, you sure did treat me mean. Oh, baby babe, you sure did treat me mean. If you don't come back, I'm going to take morphine to kill the blues, those Broadway blues. Oh, the blues, did you ever have the Broadway blues? They're the meanest old blues, those nasty Broadway blues, those mean old blues, those Broadway blues. This is called Crazy Blues, written by Perry Bradford for Mamie Smith in 1920, recorded in 1920 by Mamie Smith and her Jazz Hounds, the first African American blues singer on record. It says, I can't sleep at night, I can't eat a bite, 'cause the man I love, he don't treat me right. He makes me feel so blue, I don't know what to do. Sometimes I sit and sigh and then begin to cry, 'cause my best friend said his last goodbye. There's a change in the ocean, change in the deep blue sea, my baby. I'll tell you folks, there ain't no change in me. My love for that man will always be. Now I read his letters, I sure can't read his mind. I thought he's loving me, he's leaving all the time. Now I see my poor love was blind. Now I got the crazy blues since my baby went away. I ain't got no time to lose. I must find him today. Now there's a doctor gonna do all he can, but what you're gonna need is an undertaker, man. I ain't had nothing but bad blues. Now I got the crazy blues. This is called Frankie and Albert, written by Huey Cannon in 1904 and first recorded in 1904 by Mississippi John Hurt. Wow, covered by everybody, and it's called Frankie and Albert. It's also called Frankie and Johnny. Frankie, Bill, You Done Me Wrong, covered by, there was one, Charlie Patton, Jimmy Rogers, Leadbelly, Big Bill Brunzi, Frank Crummett, Johnny Cash, Pete Seeger, Mississippi John Hurt, Mississippi Joe Calicott, Charlie Patton, Taj Mahal, Charlie Poole, Sam Cooke, Lena Horne, oh, Lena Horne, oh, God, I love you, Lonnie Donegan, Bob Dylan, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley, Gene Vincent, Fats Waller, Van Morrison, Brooke Benton, Lindsay Lohan, Jack Johnson, and Stevie Wonder. Well, Frankie and Albert were sweethearts. Oh, Lordy, how they could love. They vowed to love one another, baby, beneath those stars above. It was her man, but he done her wrong. Well, Frankie went down to the bar room to fetch herself a bucket of beer. The bartender said, Miss Frankie, you know, your loving man was here. It was your man, but he was doing you wrong. The bartender said, Miss Frankie, well, girl, I can't tell you no more lies. Your husband left about an hour ago with that hussy named Melly Bly. It was your man, but he was doing you wrong. Well, Frankie cried, she cried, she cried, she said, now, Lordy, what have I done? I don't give enough love to my man. He done took my love and run. It was my man, but he done me wrong. Well, Albert saw Frankie coming. He said, "Lordy, don't you shoot," but out from under that red kimono, the gun went rooty toot toot. She shot that man because he was doing her wrong. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. She said, "Baby, what have I done? I shot the only man I loved with a Colt 44 gun. I shot my man because he done me wrong, and the sheriff come quickly, quickly, quickly. He done clipped her at the trail. He said, 'Now look here, woman, you done shot your man, stick you in the county jail.' Talking about your man, but he was doing you wrong." This is one. You know this song. If you have ears, you've heard this song. It's in 1934 by Clarence Tom Ashley and Gwen Foster, recorded in 1934. Covered by, and I'm not going to tell you, you'll know what it is, Georgia Turner, Woody Guthrie, Josh White, Leadbelly, The Animals, Dolly Parton, Pete Seeger, and many more. There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy, and God, I know I'm one. My mother was a tailor. She sewed those new blue jeans. My husband, he was a gambling man, drinks down in New Orleans. My husband is a gambler. He goes from town to town. The only time he's satisfied is when he drinks his liquor down. Oh, mother, tell your children not to do what I have done, to spend your lives in sin and misery in the house of the rising sun. One foot on the platform, the other's on the train. I'm going back to New Orleans to wear that ball and chain. I'm going back to New Orleans. My race is almost run. I'm going to spend the rest of my life beneath that rising sun. And it's actually written, it can be sung by a man or a woman. The House of the Rising Sun was a brothel, house of prostitution. And it can be sung from the point of view of a man who is just has a sex addiction, or a woman who just has sees no other way to get on in life but to become a prostitute. And I have to say, when it comes to those ladies, I've known a couple of them in my time. This is called John Henry. There are many versions. It's written in 1873, known as a Ballad of John Henry. Covered by Furry Lewis, Big Bill Brunsey, Pink Anderson, Fiddlin' John Carson, Uncle Dave Macon, J.E. Maynard, Leon Bibb, Leadbelly, Joe Bonamassa, Woody Guthrie, Paul Robeson, my God, what a voice, Pete Seeger, Van Morrison, Bruce Springsteen, Jillian Welch, the Drive-By Truckers, Ramblin' Jack Elliott, and Jerry Lee Lewis. John Henry was a steel-driving man. Yes, he went down. Well, he went down. You take this hammer and carry it to my captain. Oh, tell him I'm gone. Won't you tell him I'm gone? John Henry left his hammer, laying it aside the road, laying it aside the road. John Henry left his hammer, all painted in red, all painted in red. You take this hammer and carry it to my captain. Yes, tell him I'm gone. Won't you tell him I'm gone? Tell him this hammer that killed John Henry, but it won't kill me. No, it won't kill me. I walk all the way from East Colorado. Baby, that's my home. Honey, that's my home. That's where I'm going. Just take this hammer and carry it to my captain. Oh, tell him I'm gone. Won't you tell him I'm gone? This is a song, I remember hearing this, written by Jimmy Cox in about 1922 or so, first recorded by Julia Lee in 1927, called Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out. I remember listening to one of the old versions of this song at a time in my life when things were not going well, and I thought I had all these friends. And it's a real hard lesson for a young person when you're really going through some bad times and you think you have all these friends and people show you who you really are. They show who they really are. Covered by Julia Lee, Bobby Lee Cannon, Robert Cooksey, Pinetop Smith, Bessie Smith, Count Basie, Leadbelly, Scrapper Blackwell, Jimmy Witherspoon, Janis Joplin and Jorma Kaukonen, Otis Redding, Eric Clapton, and many others. I once lived a life of millionaire, spent all my money, just did not care, took all my friends out for a good time, bought bootleg whiskey, champagne, and wine. Then I began to fall so low, lost all my good friends, I did not have nowhere to go. If I get my hands on $1 again, I'm gonna hang on to it until the eagle grins, yeah. 'Cause nobody knows you when you're down and out, in your pocket not one penny, and as for friends, you don't have any. When you finally get back up on your feet again, everybody wants some of your everybody wants to be your long-lost friend. Said it's mighty strange without a doubt, nobody knows you when you're down and out. When you finally get back on your feet again, everybody wants to be your good old long-lost friend. Said it's mighty strange, nobody knows you, nobody knows you, nobody knows you when you're down and out. Ain't it the fucking truth? Gotta do a couple of more. Stagger Lee. Covered by a ton of people. Written around 1911 and first recorded by Frank Westphal and his Regal Novelty Orchestra. Covered by Herb Weinendorf's Cinderella Roof Orchestra, Ma Rainey, Frank Hutchison, Furry Lewis, Mississippi John Hurt, Woody Guthrie, Sonny Terry, Lloyd Price, and many others. If you've never heard of Sonny Terry and Brownie McGhee were two blues players. A friend of mine, one of the first blues I ever listened to, Sonny Terry and Brownie McGhee. If you have never heard them and you have any feeling about the blues whatsoever, Sonny Terry and Brownie McGhee, those guys were amazing. This song is about Sheldon Lee, known as Stag Lee, who shot his friend William Lyons because of a hat. Police officer, how can it be? You can't rest anybody but cruel old Stagger Lee. That bad man, old cruel Stagger Lee. Billy DeLion told old Stagger Lee, please don't take my life. Says, I got 2 little babies and a darling loving wife. He's a bad man, old cruel Stagger Lee. What I care about your 2 little babies, your darling loving wife. Says you done stole my Stetson hat, I'm bound to take your life. That bad man, cruel old Stagger Lee, boom, 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 went a 44 when I spied poor old Billy DeLion. He was lying on the floor. Gentlemen of the jury, what do you think of that? Said old Stagger Lee killed Billy DeLion about a $5 Stetson hat. That bad man, old cruel Stagger Lee, standing on the gallows, Stagger Lee did cuss. The judge said, let's kill him before he kills one of us. He's a bad man, old cruel Stagger Lee, standing on the gallows, head held way up high. At 12 o'clock they killed him. They was glad to see him die. He's a bad man, old cruel Stagger Lee. This one, this one goes back a long time. They're not sure when this was first recorded. It's St. James Infirmary Blues. Also known as the unfortunate rake, the unfortunate lad, the old man, or the young man cut down in his prime. Covered by James Booker, Duke Ellington, Kermit Ruffins, King Oliver, Jerry Reed, Artie Shaw, Leadbelly, Big Mama Thornton. Big Mama Thornton. There would be no Led Zeppelin without Big Mama Thornton. Jack Teagarden, Billie Holiday, Louis Armstrong. Zeppelin is like my favorite band of all time, by the way. Cassandra Wilson, Stan Kenton, Josh White, Lou Rawls, Bobby Bland, Ramblin' Jack Elliott, Doc Watson, Count Basie and Dizzy Gillespie, Dave Van Ronk, Spider John Coroner, Janis Joplin, Janis fucking Joplin, The Doors, Paul Butterfield, The Animals, The Standells, Eric Clapton, Joe Cocker, and many, many others. And the first time I ever heard this song was when I was a teenager, and Saturday Night Live was a brand new show, and I was staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning to watch the old original Saturday Night Live, and the Saturday Night Live band actually did this song, St. James Infirmary. I went down to St. James Infirmary, saw my sweetheart there, lying on a table, so cold, so white, so fair. I went up to see the doctor. She's very low, he said. I went back to see my baby, and great God, she was lying there dead. I went down to Old Joe's bar room, down on the corner by the square. They were serving drinks as usual, and the usual crowd was there. On my left stood Joe McKennedy. His eyes were bloodshot red. He turned to the crowd around him, and these are the words he said. Let her go, God bless her, wherever she may be. May she search this wide world over, but she'll never find another man like me. When I die, please bury me in a high-top Stetson hat. Put a gold piece on my watch chain, so boys, I know I will be standing pat. Get 6 gamblers to carry my coffin, 6 girls to sing my song. Put a jazz band on my tailgate to raise hell as we roll along. This is the end of my story, so let's have another round of booze. If anyone should ask, you just tell them I've got the St. James Infirmary blues. I remember when I heard that song. God, that thing got to me. And I want to do one more to finish this out. You'll know this one. This one was actually written about 1914 by Spencer Williams and Roger Graham. And you'll know what it is. First recorded in 1916 by Marion Harris. Covered by Bessie Smith, Fats Waller, Louis Armstrong, Bing Crosby, the Mills Brothers, Cab Calloway, Wingy Manone, Chick Webb, Emmett Miller, Merle Haggard, Bob Willis, Coleman Hawkins, Rosemary Clooney, and David Lee Roth. And me being the eternal Van Halen fan that I just am, I gotta finish off with this one. And I'm going to try very hard not to sing. I'm just a gigolo, and everywhere I go, people know the part I'm playing. Paid for every dance, selling each romance, every night some heart betraying. There will come a day when youth will pass away, then what'll they say about me? When in the end I know, they'll say I'm just a gigolo as life goes on without me. And I'm going to try to restrain myself here, because I ain't got nobody. Nobody cares for me. I'm so sad and lonely, sad and lonely, sad and lonely. Won't some sweet mama take a chance with me? 'Cause I ain't so bad. Get along with me, baby, been singing love songs off the time. Even if only be, honey, only be, and I'm quoting here directly, bop, bozzy-dee, bop, diddy bop. I ain't got nobody, 'cause love songs in love, and I'm quoting once again, hummala be bummala, zummala be hoobala, hummala be bummala, zummala bop. I ain't got nobody, 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 nobody cares for me. Nobody, nobody. I'm so sad and lonely, sad and lonely, sad and lonely. Won't some sweet mama take a chance with me? 'Cause I ain't so bad. Get along with me, babe, been singing love songs off all the time. Even only be, honey, only be. And if you listened all the way to the end of this, thank you so much for tolerating my weirdness. As somebody like myself who loves music, all kinds of music, I just when music for me really hits me in the heart and soul and the brain and the mind and the heart and the spirit. When music does that for me personally, it's because it comes from the heart. It comes from the soul. Beethoven, you know, Rachmaninoff. I will quote a very dear friend of mine when I said how much I love Rachmaninoff. He's like, dude, I fucking love Rachmaninoff. And I love the blues. I love the blues. It comes from somewhere sincere and deep down and authentic, and it doesn't give a fuck. And without this, there would be no rock and roll, there would be no Elvis Presley, there would certainly be no Rolling Stones, no Zeppelin. Aerosmith would have no idea what the hell to do. Any amount of people, and this stuff is timeless. And I just love it. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for listening. As always, thank you guys so much for coming in here and sticking around and hanging around and just joining me on my eternal study of the human heart and soul. Oh, my love, guys, until next time, be well. I wish you peace. Take care of yourselves and take care of the ones you love. But take care of yourself so you can take care of the ones you love. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on.